ओम ज्ञानंजन शलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि श्री हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So today we are entering into one of the highest kind of subject matter, and that's about the conjugal relationship, and making it very clear that this subject matter may be the topmost, and we have just begun with all the precautionary activity of Antaranga Bhakti, or what we call internal meditative sadhana, where the intensity of relationship will be also discussed. But in this particular chapter, the highest that is attraction in sacred lust and relationship is the subject matter that is being touched with a very, very important understanding through our predecessor acharyas that Shivram Maharaj is giving. So please pay attention very carefully. Attraction in sacred lust and relationship. At the end of the previous chapter, I touched upon different kinds of spontaneous devotion based on the teachings of Lord Kapila to Devahuti. Before describing the actual practices involved in Raganuga Bhakti, I shall elaborate on the two main categories into which spontaneous devotion is divided: conjugal and relationship. Every relationship has to be understood on the basis of the rasa tattva and sambandha tattva. One may naturally acquire or inquire why a distinction needs to be made between the two, since conjugality is also a kind of relationship. The reason is that Rupa Goswami takes a very same approach And Jiva Goswami explains that because conjugality is the preeminent relationship, is a set apart from others. Jiva Goswami describes this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Jiva Goswami's commentary. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is first canto, second chapter, 273rd verse. And Jiva Goswami's commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu will be there. So, and Jiva Goswami's explanation may be found in his commentary to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, first canto, second chapter, 284th verse. So Jiva Goswami says that the two types of Ragatmika Bhakti are known by the names of Kamarupa, impelled by conjugal love, and Sambandharupa, impelled by the pure sentiment of relationship. Every relationship has the mellows to be tasted, but the conjugal mellow is the topmost. Therefore, what kind of relationship it will be required, which is the highest? So naturally, our producer acharyas like Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami are making a distinction that relationship is to be emphasized separately from the mellow itself. Spontaneous devotion in Kama is exemplified by the young gopis of Vrindavan, their conjugal absorption in Krishna being motivated by the loving desire to give him pleasure. In this kind of devotion, Kama is known as a sacred lust and is clearly distinguished from the mundane lust of this world that also goes by the name of Kama. The nomenclature for the lust is the same. Both are called Kama. Then there must be some distinction for Kama that is being described in the spiritual path. Okay. The distinguishing factor is the gopis' full absorption in pleasing Krishna by means of romantic exchanges. Because the gopis' only motive for conjugal enjoyment is to give Krishna happiness. It is also known as love, prema, and the activities resulting from that love are highest from devotional service. Highest form of devotional service is the love for Krishna. So, without anticipation of how Krishna will reciprocate, this relationship is without any motivation. So, naturally, is it one-sided love? Yes. The lover doesn't expect anything from the beloved. Because the gopi's only motive for conjugal love is to give Krishna happiness, it is also known as love or prema. And the activities resulting from that love are the highest form of devotional service. Jiva Goswami suggests that the term Kamarupa could also be replaced with the term Kamatmika, because Kamarupa indicates only conjugal actions which alone do not give rise to love, whereas Kamatmika indicates not only actions, but also emotional of conjugality. This is Jiva Goswami's commentary on Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Jiva Goswami suggests that the term Kamarupa could also be replaced with the term Kamatmika. There should not be confusion because there's a individual usage of the words according to their deeper understanding. So what Rupa Goswami said Kamarupa, Jiva Goswami may say Kamatmika, because Kamarupa indicates only conjugal actions which alone do not give rise to love. The caricature and loving sentiments may be the same, but what is the motive behind it? Is it one way or two way? So Kamatmika indicates not only actions, but also the emotions of conjugality. He reconciles the implied disparity by including the actions of the mind in Kamarupa devotion, which the gopis think. Krishna will become so happy with me. This kind of thinking is indicative of love, and its subsequent activities are also transformations of the same. Gopis do not think that how much they will receive from Krishna in reciprocation. That is completely absent. So Kamatmika is the understanding. So Kubja is an example of Kama, which does not match the love of gopis. It lacks purity and it's almost mundane. Thus, authorities do not accept her to be Ragatmika Bhakta. When Krishna transformed her from a deformed hunchback into a beautiful maiden, she felt lusty attraction towards him and immediately expressed her intentions. Her motive was to enjoy herself, not to give Krishna pleasure. But because Krishna was exclusive object of her attraction, it is said that she has a small degree of love. Only later, when Krishna and Uddhav visited Kubja's at home, did she receive Krishna's mercy and became fully purified. Sridhar Swami adds that she became a liberated soul at that time. That is commentary of Sridhar Swami to Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 48th chapter, 8th verse. And according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Kubja is the Lord's Bhu-Shakti, the earth goddess. That is also been in the commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 48th verse and 10th verse. Bhu-Kubja, Bhu-Shakti, earthly. As such, even her purified love will not match up to Kamarupa love of the gopis, because as an expansion of the internal potency, she has awareness of his divinity. A true example of Kamarupa Ragatmika Bhakti is one that exhibits both the physical and mental acts of pure conjugal love, is the following expression of gopis, spoken when Krishna abandoned them in the forest on the night of the Rasa dance. Yatte sujata charanambujabaharam staneshu abhitah sanay priya adhimahi kankareshu tena tvim atasi tad vyathate na kim visvit ruparaptir pramati dhir bhavat ayusham naha. Oh, dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breasts, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by the pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. This is the reference of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 31st chapter, 19th verse. So, Vedic literature and among great devotees, the Kamarupa of the gopis is synonymous with the prema, and it is eagerly sought after by the likes of personified Vedas and Krishna's cousin Uddhava. They express in their prayers. Gopal Tapani Upanishad and Gayatri Mantra succeeded in their quest to become gopis, while Uddhava took birth as a ground cover at a place where the gopis would walk on him. The reason Uddhava did not accept the actual mood and form of the gopis was that he did not want to inspire devotees to abandon their original relationship with Krishna for one of the gopis. One cannot jump from one relationship to other. So Uddhav is an example. Even though he had desire, personified Vedas have desire and that express to follow in the footsteps of the gopis, of Braja. Yet they are not executing that desire out of the etiquette of the personal realization. You may have desire, but we have to know what are our limits. How do we approach gradually? We can't imitate gopis. If you go to Barsana, you will see male candidates become gopis. They may act, but we have seen they require attention from the public, and they beg money from them. That is not the job of the gopis. So we are getting a very satisfactory observation of Shivaram Maharaj that he's trying to differentiate the aspect of conjugal relationships, but dividing what is meant by actual conjugal and what is meant by relationship. Conjugal relationship is, and of the gopis, is only one way, not desiring for reciprocation from Krishna. Can anybody love like that? If we are in the mundane world, we are grossly engaged in anticipating that relationship because we have our desire and our partner has their desire. If anybody's desire is not fulfilled, there is always a breakup. We never saw this kind of breakup in Gopi's love of Lord Krishna. So, everlasting relationship is most important, regardless of, our desires. Our desires are very controlled, and because I love Krishna without any motivation of my own, because he is the ultimate source of everything. And if I remain connected with him, that's good enough. I don't want his reciprocation. Here, even slight disturbance in our material life, we remember Krishna. Come and say, this is a two-way thing, because we have only knowledge in material life of a two-way reciprocation. But this is a very distinguishable feature that extols the relationship of the gopis on the highest. Ramya kajit upasana vrajavadur vargena jakalpita. Who will be ready for that? So it is better to understand this distinction because it is pure, spotless, and never wavers. The love of gopis is celebrated at Rudha Bhava. Rudha means so solid. Arudha, it should overpower us. Overpower our own separate desires, which literally means perfect love. And so it is poles apart from the material lust. It is said that the desire to gratify one's own senses is kama lust, but to desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema or love. So you can understand the distinction between kama lust and prema love. For Krishna's pleasure, gopis abandon not only their families but also social customs, scriptural injunctions, bodily demands, fruitive action, shyness, patience, bodily pleasures, self-gratification, and the rules of varnashram dharma. Having renounced everything, indifferent to their pleasures and pains, the gopis were attached only to giving Krishna pleasure. And so their every physical and mental activity was dedicated to that end. By the influence of their love, the gopis surpassed the greatest yogis and devotees, obliging Krishna, who has promised to reciprocate with all who worship him, to admit that he is unable to repay the gopis' love and so remain in their eternal death. Naparayeham. That is the point. This has been, in this regard, Krishna says, Naparayeham nirvidya samujjam swasya ho krityam vibudha yusapi vah ya mahajan durjaya geha sankrala samasya tad vah pratiyatu sadhuna. O gopis, I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond a reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties, which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deed be your compensation. This is in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 32nd chapter, 22nd verse. Isn't it this appropriate to justify the subject matter of conjugal and relationship. These are two different situations. It has to be clarified first and foremost. To summarize the sacred lust of the gopis, Kama Rupa Ragatmika Bhakti is characterized by an intense thirst for conjugal enjoyment with Krishna for the sole purpose of pleasing him. Unlike the Kama of Kupja, the gopis' Kama is without the slightest trace of desire to enjoy Krishna, and therefore their Kama is the fullest expression of love of God. Kama equates with Prema. It has gained such renown because of its special sweetness, which rises from amorous exchanges not found in other relationships, and yet which includes all those devotional moods. In Srila Prabhupada's valued opinion, it is super excellent. Srila Prabhupada is quoted, his commenting can be found in the purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 4th chapter, 81st verse. And the Vedic literature says, Premeva Gopa Ramanam Kama iti agamat prathamam. The Kama Rupa Bhakti of the gopis has become famous simply as Prema. Therefore, great devotees in relationship with Krishna, like Uddhava, not only praised the love of gopis, but as mentioned earlier, they yearn for its intensity. They don't want to enjoy the reciprocated love of Krishna. Uddhav, therefore, not only praised the love of gopis, but as mentioned earlier, they yearn for its intensity only. They want to love more and more. There is a competition, and who wins? Gopis win. Because their yearning is more than Lord Krishna's reciprocation. Having discussed the spontaneous love of gopis, the other kind of ragatmika love relationship will now be examined. With praising the good fortune of Yudhishthir Maharaj, Narad Muni says, Gopya kamad baya kanso dvesha chaidyadau nrupaha sambandad varnayaha snehad yoyam bhaktya vayam vibho. My dear King Yudhishthir, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by fear, Shishupal and other kings by envy, and Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we, the general devotees, by our devotional service, have obtained the mercy of Krishna. How do we receive the mercy of Lord Krishna is indicated that in whichever status of life and whichever fire relationship we have been engaged in devotional service, we get reciprocation from Krishna, and only the gopis' love was impossible to be reciprocated by Krishna. Therefore, Krishna exalted, their love as the highest. So this has been from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1st chapter, 31st verse. This verse lists different persons who, as a consequence of deep immersion in thoughts of Krishna, achieve different kinds of specific perfections. By analyzing these different perfections, we see that only two kinds of absorption lead to ragatmika bhakti, and those are of the nature of kama and sambandha. That analysis as follows. Narad's devotion is denoted by the word bhaktya vayam, which is translated by Srila Prabhupada as we, the general devotees, by our devotional service, which Rupa Goswami goes further to specify as we, by our Vaidhi Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada's purpose also confirmed that this later understanding was also his. Thus, the mercy obtained by Narad and his followers is not Ragatmika Bhakti. So this is the category, and it is explained hmm. Oh, okay. Can we see this as in detailed explanation? This particular verse, Gopya Kamad Bayat Kamso Dveshachaidya Deo Nrupaha Sambandhat Varnayah Snehad Yuyam Bhaktya Vayam Vibho. My dear King Yudhishthir, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by his fear, Shishupal and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we general devotees by our devotional service have obtained the mercy of Krishna. So, out of this, only two are they are the kind of absorption that lead to ragatmika bhakti, and those are of the nature of kama and sambandha that may say Narad devotion is denoted by the words bhaktyad vayam, means which is translated by Srila Prabhupada as we the general devotees, that is applicable to us by our devotional service, which Rupa Goswami goes further to specify as we by our Vaidhi Bhakti. Srila Prabhupada's purport also confirms that this later understanding was also his. Thus, the mercy obtained by Narad and his followers, that means all of us at this stage, is not Ragatmika Bhakti. The same may be said of the Pandavas. Although they are Krishna's friends, veneration dominates their devotion, and once again, the mercy for which they qualify is not of the same nature of raga. Finally, with the fear and envy may have resulted in liberation for Kamsa and Shishupal. These are clearly not favorable moods of devotion, and so the absorption that they avoid does not equal that attained by the devotees of the Lord. Those who act against Lord Sri Krishna's desire, even though they are so intimately connected and they are engaged, but because of the envious nature, Even though how close or they touch the body of Krishna, they are not being taken care. They can get salvation or mukti only, but not purified heart to getting loving exchange. Yes. Generally, the mercy the demons attain is shelter in Krishna's spiritual effulgence, Brahman, and in the rare case that they attain the spiritual world, they still only relish the happiness of Brahman and Brahmanand, which is far cry from the bliss of Ragatmika Bhakti. Brahmanand, Paramasukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim, Dvandati Triguna Rahitam Sarvalok Ekanatham. This Mayavadis generally speak this particular verse. Rupa Goswami quotes Brahmanand from Brahmanda Purana, saying that Siddhaloka, the spiritual world, is beyond Prakriti. That there the demons killed by the Lord and some sages dwell, merged in the happiness of Brahman. This is in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 280th verse. The demons who are liberated, they hang in Brahmajyoti without any shelter. So ultimately, they will also fall off. So, by the process of elimination, we see that the only karma of the gopis and the sambandha of Vrishnis fall into category of Ragatmika Bhakti after their careful analysis of Srimad Bhagavatam, Acharya's Rupa. Huh? What's that? Somebody was mentioned. By the process of elimination, we see that only karma of the gopis and sambandha of the Vrishnis fall into category of Ragatmika Bhakti after their careful analysis of Srimad Bhagavatam. Acharyas Rupa, Jiva, and Vishwanath conclude in this way. Having already touched upon the subject of Ragatmika Bhakti in the sacred lust, let us briefly survey the characteristics of Ragatmika Bhakti in other relationships like the parenthood, friendship, and servanthood. Once again, this kind of raga are only seen in the Vrajvasis. Objection may be raised that in Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse above, affection in relationship, was exemplified by the Vrishnis. But the Vrishnis are the residents of Mathura and Dwarka, and their affection is burdened by awareness of Krishna's divinity. Even we have seen such description of the behavior of the household of Lord Shri Krishna in Dwarka, how they were reciprocating and how this was being observed by Gopakumar. So, but the Vrishnis are the residents of Mathura and Dwarka, and their affection is burdened by awareness of Krishna's divinity. They are aware that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the conclusion derived from that verse thus compromises the very definition of raga. How then can we say that there is such a thing as Ragatmika Bhakti in that relationship? The answer, in short, is that Vrajavasis are also known as Vrishnis. This is explained of our revered acharyas. This is the explanation of our revered acharyas. While instructing, Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described the rudimentary characteristics of Sambandha Rupa of Vrajavasis, followed by those of Gopis. This is, and the reference that we have to understand. The genealogy of the Vrishnis stem from King Devamidha, who had two wives, a Kshatriya from the descent of residents of Dwarka and a Vaishya from the descent of Vrajavasis. Although the direct meaning of Vrishni is Dwarkavasi, in the context in which the name has been used, such as meaning does not make the sense. And therefore, the secondary meaning, Vrajavasis, is adopted. Thus, when Narad refers to Vrishnis, he is speaking about Vrajavasis, Vrishnis. And there is a context in 7th canto, 1st chapter, 30th verse. Narad lists causes of absorption, lust, hatred, fear, affection, and regulated devotion. Hatred and fear do not qualify as devotion. They are not relevant to the context in question. Since he has already explicitly mentioned regulated devotion, lust and relationship must both be spontaneous devotion. Such being the case, a relationship cannot refer to the Vrishnis as their devotion is not purely spontaneous. Therefore, the secondary or indirect meaning of Vrishnis must be adapted as Brijvasis. I hope this interpretation quoted has a different connotation. Why Vrishnis should be considered as Brijvasis?
I had the same question as well when it said Vrishnis were.
Yeah, because Devamidha has two wives. One was Kshatriya from Dwarka and another from Vaishya from Vrishnis. So, everybody who is expressing Lord Krishna's reciprocation in their own attachment to it. Vrishnis are coming under the category, This category can be considered as Ragatmika Bhakti. So it means in Dwarka, everybody was not. They were simply attracted by awe and reverence in the divinity, the knowledge of divinity. The Dwarkavasis were aware, So that knowledge becomes a kind of hindrance in growing into further relationships. It is said that in Vaikuntha, a similar situation is also considered, that in Vaikuntha, awe and reverence is the main category of worship. Awe and reverence, or devotion in awe and reverence. Awe and reverence can fulfill all your personal desires of Sarsti, Samipya, Salokya, and Sarupya, Muktis. But awe and reverence is the only way, what we call one-way attraction. but it does not qualify with Ragatmika Bhakti. It may be one way, because we do not see what is the, oh, your desires are already fulfilled by Lord Vishnu, that what you desired, that is the only reciprocation, but that gives you liberation in Vaikuntha and for or any one of the categories. So after that, there is no further reciprocation. You are stuck in ON veneration. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada's purport also confirms that this later understanding was also his, that it is Vaidhi Bhakti. And Vaidhi Bhakti is done by the devotees, and the mercy obtained by Narad and his followers is not Ragatmika Bhakti, but it is the reciprocation of Lord Sri Krishna, in our ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. So it is like that. Mama vartamanu vartante manusya partha sarvasa. So just to get that reciprocation, everybody is linked as a soul, but an inert soul without any devotion is also being reciprocated by Lord Krishna, but it is not being recognized either by the practitioner or and what is their ultimate aim? They do not go to Vaikuntha. They do not go either to what to speak of Goloka. In Golok Vrindavan, there's reciprocation is most prominent, and that is not in Vaikuntha. So by the process of elimination, we see that only Kama of the gopis and Sambandha of the Vrishnis fall in the category of Ragatmika Bhakti. After their careful analysis of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Acharyas Rupa, Jiva and Vishwanath conclude in this way. Having already touched upon the subject of Ragatmika Bhakti in sacred lust, let us briefly survey the characteristics of Ragatmika Bhakti in other relationships like parenthood, friendship, and servanthood. Once again, this kind of ragat are only seen in the Brajvasis. Objection may be raised that in Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse above, affection in relationship was exemplified by the Vrishnis, but the Vrishnis are residents of Mathura and Dwarka, and their affection is burdened by awareness of Krishna's divinity. The conclusion derived from that verse thus compromises the very definition of raga. How then can we say that there is such a thing as Ragatmika Bhakti in their relationship? The answer, in short, is that Vrajvasis are also known as Vrishnis. And that has been already confirmed. So we got the text in the genealogy of Vrishnis, which is stemming from King Devamidha, who has 2 wives, a Kshatriya, and from the descent of residents of Dwarka, and a Vaishya from the descent of Vrajvasis. Although the direct meaning of Vrishni is Dwarkavasi, in the context in which the name has been used, such a meaning does not make sense, and therefore the secondary meaning, Vrajvasi, is adopted. Thus, when Narad refers to Vrishnis, he is speaking about the Vrajavasis Vrishnis. What is the context? In 7th canto, 1st chapter, 30th verse, Narad lists causes of absorption: lust, hatred, fear, affection, and regulated devotion. Hatred and fear do not qualify devotion, so they do not. They are not relevant to the context of question, since he has already explicitly explained regulated devotional service. Lust and relationship must both be spontaneous devotion. Such being the case, relationship cannot refer to the Vrishnis, as their devotion is not purely spontaneous. Therefore, the secondary or indirect meaning of Vrishni must be adopted, the Virjavasis. And while instructing Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described the rudimentary characteristics of Samanda Rupa Vrajavasis, followed by those of the gopis. So in that reference, a detailed dissertation on the subject can be found in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 19. So this is also a well-studied reference to the context that gives us the unhindered meaning. Otherwise, people get stuck into secondary meaning and then they keep on quibbling. But we follow the acharyas, we follow our predecessor acharya, and we will be safe. We cannot go out of our line of disciplic succession. The distinguishing characteristics of love begin with love and veneration and our attachment to Krishna and freedom from material desires. These are exhibited by Jnanis who have achieved the mellows of neutrality, Shantarasa. Only when neutrality is enriched with the acts of service, it is then known as servitude, dasya. The first of the three relationships, Sabandha Rupa Ragatmika Bhakti. Dasya, vow, will enter into Ragatmika. When relationship of servitude is freed from the veneration ingrained in the exchange between servant and the master, and when it is further enhanced with friendly intimacy, at that time it is transformed into friendship, that is Sakhya. Endowed with this relationship, Krishna's friends think themselves his equal and even his superior. And when friendship is further enriched with the sense of maintenance typical of parents, then that relationship becomes one of parenthood, that is Vatsalya. Parental relationship is followed by Kama Rupa Bhakti, in which the same attachment, service, fraternity, and sense of maintenance exist, but with increased intimacy and intensity. Intimacy and intensity. In addition, the gopis offer their bodies in service to Krishna. Thus, over and above it is own specialty, the love of the gopis contains all the qualities of relationships to the superlative degree. View from the number of intensity and qualities present, the Kama Rupa of the gopis is transcendently superior to those of Sambandha Rupa. That is why it is called the perfection of love. In Sambandha Rupa, parenthood excels friendship, which in turn to superior to servitude. From the viewpoint of the Vrajavasis, however, Whichever love for Krishna they embody is the relationship they consider perfect and complete. Simply with Krishna, while Krishna recognizes the hierarchy of perfections, he is simultaneously equally pleased with all of them. In the perpetual festival ocean of love celebrated by the Brijvasis, many waves of pastimes rise and fall. And as Krishna's living for the morning pasture grounds, like an outgoing tide of humanity, uh, the Brajvasis flow from the homes of Nandagram to see of their beloved Prince Regent. The cows have been eagerly anticipating Krishna's arrival, and when he appears, they lovingly greet him with their own ways and then turn to lead him to Vrindavan forest. Servant boys like Brungar and Madhukanta attend to Krishna. They carry his paraphernalia such as the buffalo horn, bugle, a walking stick, and rope. They are expert in decorating Krishna with mineral dyes, serving him betel nuts, and playing instruments as they sing melodious songs. Other servants anoint Krishna with aromatic substances and decorate him with the ornaments and fresh clothes, while yet others carry water for all occasions and also wash his clothes. But the maid servants sadly remain in Nandagram, where they cleanse Krishna's quarters and attend to his needs in the way that Mother Yashoda directs. Surrounded by intimate friends, Priya Narmasakhas like Subala, Ujjvala, and Madhumangala, Krishna basks in the soothing rays of their love. Although he is more beautiful than the thousands of Cupid, Krishna reveals the beauty of a fair complexion, Subala, who, like Balaram, is dressed in blue garments and is decorated with assortment of jewels and flower ornaments. Although only 12.5-year-old cheerful Subala is wise in Krishna's amorous ways and expert in arranging meeting with Sri Radha. Subala is the brother of Srimati Radharani, and he was expert in arranging meeting with Sri Radha. Walking before Krishna are his dear friends, Priya Sakhas, of whom dark complexion Sridham is the leader, being Sridham is the brother. Being Srimati Radharani's older brother, 16-year-old Sridham is a vast repository of love for his dear friend. In the intimacy of love, he will wrestle with Krishna, placing his knees on the Lord's chest and saying, "Now, what kind of strong prince are you?" Krishna has other friends, some known as well-wishers, Surat, others as friends, Sakhas. They are characterized by unique affection for him and by specialized services. Although with the other boys, they sing while dancing towards the forest edge and playing and playfully hold the end of the dhoti of the boy before them. In this way, they enjoy and please the eyes of the demigods who shower flowers upon them. Seeing that her worst fears will be realized and that her son is really living barefoot for the demon-infested forest, Mother Yashoda faints in the arm of his elder ladies like Rohini, Balram's mother. Although these gopis are mothers to Krishna's friends, they love Krishna many times more than their own sons. Unable to revive their queen, the gopis call to Krishna, who with his soothing touch and gentle words revive Yashoda Devi and reassures her that his day will be auspicious, his return is imminent. Krishna touches his mother's feet, saying, "Dear mother, with the power of your foot, dust, I can vanquish a universe full of demons. Who can harm me now?" Her eyes overflowing with tears, Mother Yashoda barely sees her son, and so she embraces him one last time, giving instruction to Balram and the other boys to keep Krishna well guarded. Krishna looks longingly at his mother. He wants to purify his eyes and impress her image within his heart. Of meditation, of medium stature, Yashoda Devi's beauty brings the rest great poets' quills, for she can only be compared to herself, just as Krishna can only be compared to himself. Her dark complexion and even darkest braid contrast exquisitely with her rainbow-colored breasts, jeweled ornaments, and flower decorations. Although she looks like a gopi queen, she is the embodiment of parental love and would instantly sacrifice her life to remedy Krishna's slightest discomfort. A little behind and to the side of the other Vrajavasis, the young gopis huddle around Srimati Radharani, their eyes fixed on Krishna, their voice whispering hope to their princess. To untrained eyes, the radiance of their transcendence quality and incomparable bodily beauty could be mistaken for a treasured hoard of celestial gems. A qualified observer, however, will see that they are the personification of amorous charms. The mere mention of those names caused demigods to fall from heaven like rain. Lalita, Vishakha, Chitra, and Tungavidya are some of her friends, and Manjari, Rupa, Rati, Lavanga, and Kasturi, her maidservants. For the exclusive pleasure of Krishna, they are all gorgeously dressed and ornamented, but in their minds they lament, what is the use of our beauty if Krishna cannot delight in it? At the forest age, Krishna turns to cast a reassured look at Srimati Radharani and her entourage. Placing the flute to his lips, he sends a mystic song whose message is understood only to the Vrij beauties. Please do not grieve, return home, complete your household chores, and then meet me by Radha's lake at midday. And with that, he enters the forest shadow to enjoy morning of play with his joyful companions. Although Ragatmika devotion of Krishna's eternal associates is classified in these ways, both lust and relationship have further subdivisions, which I have only touched on above. For further information on the topic, readers can study the chapters of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu and the Nectar of Devotion that deals with Prema Bhakti. This book deals with Raganuga Bhakti, which has already been defined as devotional service in practice, shadowing the attraction of the Vrajvasis. A conclusion readers will draw from this chapter is that Raganuga Bhakti also has two main divisions, the Kama and the Sambandha. These are respectively called Kamanuga and Sambandhanuga Sadhana Bhakti. They are the topics of the following chapters, means chapters coming. So, This is a very wonderful prelude by explanation of the devotion service, with very, very precise understanding on the subject, which is distinguished, that conjugal means raganuga, and relationship, the sambandha, as the lovers, and both are distinguished, and everything that happens in Vraja is not on that level. Brajvasis are of different categories, So naturally, when the highest of conjugal loving relationship exhibited by the gopis is very, very distinguishable, and to be separated out with other reciprocatory relationships. Conjugal relationship is the only one which is one-sided, and Krishna cannot repay it. Krishna cannot repay it. That is the distinction, and our producer acharyas like Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, everybody is very aware and become with great veneration extol the position of the gopis of Vrindavan. Ramya Kachidupasana Brajavatura Varga Jakalpita. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us this following in the footsteps of gopis. So naturally, wherever we will be stuck, we do not know. But to understand this, we are studying these chapters under the tutelage of Shivaram Maharaj, with Srila Prabhupada, and all the stalwart acharyas of Vrindavan. They have developed Ragatmika Bhakti. Even in fraternalship, Srila Prabhupada expressed, will be able to understand deeply how things can be revealed even in little glimpse. But as a standard text which gives us guidelines to follow, Shivaram Maharaj is writing this textbooks and are giving us access to the deeper understanding of Krishna in Vrindavan series. That is yet very far for us to enter into. So anybody has any question or comments?
It was saying that the demigods hear the names of the gopis and they fall out of the sky. That means they have some awareness of the relationship of the gopis.
Awareness is there because they hear, but they are not perceiving the one-sided love. Demigods fail, so they fall off.
They have some understanding because it makes them bewildered.
Yes, but to understand even the reciprocation, if they come down and interact with Krishna, look how Brahma could end up and Indra could end up. They're demigods. Lord Shiva was also, we got one example, Lord Shiva. So, even though they have desire, Lord Shiva has to become a gopi. Uh, and one who wants to become a gopi, and then Krishna will know. Oh, Gopeshwar Mahadev, please come. You are welcome to enter. And Gopeshwar Mahadev was very bashful and ashamed, you know. Look at what happened to him when Mohini Murti was. So can you imagine even the lust would not leave Shiva alone. What is to speak to us? You know? Even though we have the highest goal, yet we are far away fetched. But we have to understand the system. We have to understand those who are trying to understand intricacies, and then out of the maturity of their understanding, they are writing this explanation with reference to the context of our previous acharyas. It's a very laudable effort. Very rare you will find in ISKCON that these things are available.
Damodarati has her hand up.
Yes. What does she say?
Oh, she has her hand up. Unmute.
Damodarati, you have question?
Damodarati.
Yes, yes. Hare Krishna, Guruvardhanvat Pranam.
Yeah.
Thank you for a really, really wonderful class. I'm a far cry from understanding.
I'm reading from the books.
I know, but you're explaining too. I'm a far cry from understanding conjugal love and all that. But my question is, even while we are practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, how do I know if Krishna is accepting my service and happy with my service, or I'm doing the
Why
right
not?
thing?
Why not? At least it's sustaining your faith. Do you think you are sustaining faith on him?
No.
Then he is giving you enough intelligence. Otherwise, do you have your own intelligence? No.
Yeah.
We have to see reciprocation in every aspect of our even physical existence. He fulfills our desires far more than we reciprocate with him, or we intend to interact with him. Even without knowledge, he fulfills everybody's desire. But that is physical in nature. Now, to come out from there and do some menial service, what to speak of meditative service, what to speak of exhibiting the purity of our soul, and to do spontaneous devotional service, and to enter into the different rasas gradually, you know. Yes. Have you noticed in this reading one thing, that we can be transported from one kind of devotional service and mood, like from awe and reverence to servitorship. From servitorship, we can transcend to fraternal, from fraternal to parental, and from parental to conjugal. Even though they are very distinguished, but more understanding we are developing, more compliance we are performing with Lord Krishna's desire, more lalasa is developed, greed Lowly. It is available for us to transit from one type of relation into another type of relationships. In material world, we have multiple relationships, but some relationships are interchangeable. First, friendship is there, then it may develop into conjugal. Even in material nature, it's transitory situations. So, we can understand. But those who are stuck in Vaikuntha level, they aspire for this kind of loving exchanges. They are unable to get it in Vaikuntha. Only on reverence. So that realm, what they can do, they are stuck. So the higher devotional service is Anyapilakshita Shanyam Jnana Karma Dana Avritam Anukulyena Krishna
Krishna
Viruttama. That is the nature. Any other question?
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Jai.
And Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Suresh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Hare
Jai.
Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Guru Maharaj. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 4.165 says this, that Atmendriya Priti Chatare Bali Kame Krishnendriya Priti Vancha Dhare Prema Nama. The definition of karma and the love, the lust and love, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the satisfying Krishna's senses. So now satisfying Krishna's senses, we take it as ragatmika or raganuga, or it is in between. Sometimes ragatmika, sometimes how we should understand.
Rag means attachment. Okay.
Yes, Guru.
And anurag afterwards. That is continuing our attachment. So it becomes a continuous experience of attachment to Lord Krishna. Right?
Yes.
So that is also there. Continuous attachment can be there in awe and reverence. But it is all the higher categories that is found in Goloka Vrindavan is more than awe and reverence. Awe and reverence is also there in Golok Vrindavan. But it has developed into a kind of a one-track devotional service of the living entities desiring to become grass in Golok Vrindavan and meditating when Krishna will come and trample on me. My life will be successful. But that is also one way. All right. They wait, wait, and wait, and wait. So it is little higher than on reverence of Vaikuntha. But then actively engage in reciprocatory services is the other relationships of friendship, paternal is there. But in conjugal, no taint of reciprocation is even though if it is available, it is never mentioned. It's one way track.
Guru Maharaj, one more question. Unfortunately,
Why would not Radharani ever remain satisfied in her devotional service to Krishna?
Their mood is complete humility.
Huh?
Her mood is complete humility.
Naturally, Krishna, our love will be so much that you will not be able to repay or, that is the nature of the highest, even though it may be conjugal, but the relationship is a one-way track. You are the Lord and Master. We are your energies. We are supposed to be your maid servants, and maid servants without any desiring to reciprocate. Would Radharani be ever remaining satisfied with her activities to Krishna, or she will always take a transcendental anger to increase the loving intensity of Lord Shri Krishna? Who wins? Only Radharani wins. Krishna remains defeated. So that is the real love. Love does not require reciprocation, is the real love. While in all those relationships, you may be finding some term which is for Ragatmika. It differs, but Shivaram Maharaj clarifies that there should not be much difference, but use the very standard terms which are distinguishable by its intrinsic characters, so distinct that it gives only specific meanings, not roundabout meanings, or not overall meaning. No. Gopi's love is so specific, so much specific. Okay.
Guru Maharaj. Yeah, Guru Maharaj. One more small this thing I have, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, while we are chanting, we are no where it falls actually. Now, in the definition of the love given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Atmendriya Priti, Krishnendriya Priti. So we are trying to satisfy Krishna, Krishna as a whole. Indriya, in this case, where we try to satisfy Krishna, what Indriya?
Krishna's senses. Krishna's senses, not our senses.
Yes. Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
In the Atmendriya Priti, Krishnendriya Priti. When it is Krishnendriya Priti, this is called love. So when we are chanting, actually we are trying to satisfy Krishna. So we are trying to satisfy what senses of Krishna?
Krishna also has 5 senses. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the Manasasthani Indriyani is there. But because we are Prakritistha, we are situated in material energy, it karshati. It is simply putting us into a better situation.
Yeah.
But when you employ in Krishna's senses, Rishikena Rishikesham Sevanam Bhakti Richyate. Senses must be engaged in the master of senses. So if he is master of senses, do you think he is without senses?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, then, so that's the beginning point of learning that Krishna is not senseless. We can become senseless even though we have senses, but we do not know how to use our senses. So we become senseless, idiot.
Guru Maharaj, shall I just say what I answered when this question was raised? I said it is satisfying Krishna's sense of hearing. We are chanting, so Krishna is pleased to hear the prayer from our side. So we are satisfying Krishna's hearing sense.
Okay.
So we
And
are,
when you offer bhoga, which sense is
we,
satisfied?
yeah, the same. Eating the jihva.
Huh?
And what about seeing?
We are
Yeah.
massaging Krishna's lotus feet and the deity.
Yeah.
What thought we have to do? We have to transcend. We have to transcend.
Touch.
Why? Or we are getting a practice to transcend by serving the archa vigrahas.
Yeah.
So Krishna has all the senses.
Yeah. Yes.
And if he can see and create the whole material universe, his senses are so powerful. Sa ikshati sa iman lokan asrujata. Then he is asking to satisfy his senses. Yat karoshi yadashnashi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunte tat kurushva madarpanam. Our activity should be so much purified beyond the three modes of material nature that this becomes transcendental and acceptable by Lord Shri Krishna's transcendental senses.
Yes.
That is the aim and objective of getting a second initiation and enter into the Brahminical qualification and develop all the Brahminical traits. Samahadama tapashojam shanti rajavame vicha jnana vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavjam. So that gives rise to reciprocate with the transcendental senses of Lord Shri Krishna. Is Paramatma situated in every grain of the Murti form. He is not a dead stone. We are not Murti Pujak. We have to cultivate the sense of our devotion. We are not worshipping a graven image. Okay?
Oh, yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. Small request, Guru Maharaj, if you don't mind.
Hare Krishna.
The 5 devotees who are traveling from Hindupur, they want to take your blessings by taking your darshan. Is it
Okay.
Not now.
at 9:30 video call?
Yeah. All right, after 9:30.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. You're so kind.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Asitradya Prabhu has put up a question.
Yes.
He has written,
I've given it to you.
Dandavats Guru Deva.
How do we
How do-
understand that conjugal love includes aspect of parental love? It is easy to understand that conjugal love can include aspect of Sakhya and Dasya, but how could it include the parental love is a puzzle to me. If it is becoming a transit.
I also heard one explanation for that when Radharani is feeding Krishna, she's in a parental mood to give him.
Did you listen? Lavanglata says when Radharani is feeding Krishna, when she is cooking for Lord Krishna, that is a parental mood. Have you ever understood that somebody is cooking in conjugal mood? That becomes weird. But such activities are there. After all, the newly married wife is expected to cook in the kitchen. If she doesn't know, then she becomes an obstacle in the family. Because she will be inevitably have to develop that parental mood because she will be bearing children. So she has to cultivate double mood, parental as well as conjugal. The parties are different, but here the party is one, Lord Shri Krishna himself. So from parental mood, the transit can be also in conjugal mood, but it does not, interchange as frequently as in, because the conjugal mood has to become more and more and more concentrated, one-sided. That is Gopi's love. Anandamay Prabhu is saying, I see I have to fix my mind forcefully, but how to love spontaneously? Just fix your mind forcefully, and then your desire will be fulfilled. It has to come as a transit. Everything is transit. Transcendental means transit activity is there. Trans means from one place to another. It's called trans. So, you fix your mind forcefully. But if you are able to fix your mind, you don't have to apply force anyway. Because our mind is focused on many aspects of our grahastha life, of course, to develop or jump into the spontaneous situation is also difficult. But gradually we have to rise according to the age, affection, and responsibilities are getting retired. So that age has to come. You can't jump like a monkey. Does monkey have to jump very forcefully? Or it is their natural instinct that will make him jump? They are never trained how to jump. So we cannot jump. This requires training, and it gradually happens to overcome by the age and maturity in our understandings. All right, Hare Krishna. Any more question?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Maharaj,
like going through today's chapter and things. So all these aspects of Ragatmika Bhakti is only exhibited by the Vrajavasis, because in all other, even though they are eternal associates of the Lord, they have got some inclination of the Lord's divinity. Is that how we understand?
Yeah. Even personified Vedas they requested Krishna, and Krishna allowed them to become Vrajagopis also. Because seeing the intensity of unilateral love, means not bilateral, unilateral love of gopis, they wanted to taste. Means they must have been, because personified Vedas are describing everything. So naturally, their inclination to taste and get properly situated to explain the deep, deep sentiments in loving Lord Shri Krishna. Yay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Guru Maharaj, while discussing this topic, the verse Ashlisha va padaratam pinastu mam, my
Yes.
mahatam karotu va, that's coming to my mind. So, I'm finding like that verse of Shikshashtakam is the perfect embodiment of the love of the gopis. Is that
That's
correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Readiness. I do not deserve or I do not desire. It becomes same. But I want to love unconditionally. Yatha tatha vidadatu lampatam mat prananathastu sa evana para. Prananath means my husband, my protector. That is Prananath. Our husbands in material life, we also tell them Prananath, but as far as body is concerned, not mind or intelligence or our being of connected with Krishna. He has to develop the same thing for himself, for Lord Krishna. So the idea is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is expressing in very practical terms, to develop that kind of our inner aspect of existence with so much determination, so much drade, very, very firm resolve should is required. If our resolve becomes disturbed by some material change, and then we complain, oh Maharaj, I cannot chant this way, that way. We have to transcend beyond.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Then
Janeshwar Guru.
You
can unmute Janeshwar Guru.
Yes, yes.
Janeshwar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai,
Hare
close
Krishna
to.
Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Guru Maharaj, just I know, although I'm not qualified in this subject matter, but you were trying to digest what you just mentioned. Now you said about Raganuga. So even the gopis are under the Raganuga platform. But I just wanted to clarify that even in our practice also there are Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, there is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga. So we are under the the footsteps of those who are already on the Raga platform. But how do we understand gopis? Because they are already on a very highest platform of the conjugal.
But,
So how do we understand
right.
them under the platform Raganuga?
That is correct. But these are the highest expression in going back home, back to Godhead. The value system is different. The
Okay.
value is nothing but love, unconditional, unmotivated, uncontaminated devotional service means love of Godhead is like that.
Mm.
So, what kind of attachment is required? Who are the examples? So gopis' love are to be understood to be on the highest platform because they are not asking for reciprocation from Krishna. Because they are not giving up Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you are not available to me. Okay, I won't care for you. It's not like that. That is not the resolve. It's a one-way track. Prem gali atisa kari tame do samay. Third person cannot come in between. So narrow path.
Okay.
One-way track. Even Krishna is the target, he will not be allowed. He cannot pass through. But of course, he is always there, but he can't reciprocate. He becomes dumbfounded.
Okay. So, when
At that extent, when
Bhagavatam mentions
coming out from
Haituki
Krishna's
Apratihata.
eyes, at that extent, when tears are coming from the eyes of Krishna, these tears are of true love, and he expresses it, but he cannot reciprocate it. That is the highest.
Okay. And when Bhagavatam mentions that Ahaituki Apratihata platform, so is it possible under the Vaidhi sadhana, or is because it looks like it's very high?
Both.
When Bhagavatam mentions, okay.
Yayatma suprasidati. If you are graduating from the high school, it is also an occasion of, joy to celebrate. When you also graduate from the college, that is also an occasion for that. When you do masters, when you do all this, PhD, every successive aspect is an occasion of joy to be expressed.
Oh, wonderful, Guru. So wonderful. So Suprasidati is in different stages.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Guru. Thank you so much. So very nice.
Gopi's love is expressed here one-sided, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur is expressing, okay, I want to become a gopi, but I will have to become first a kept maid servant of one of the Sakhis, right? Just like Palyadasi Kori, Lalita Sundari, Hamare Lohiya Kabe. When will you accept me as your kept maid servant, my dear Lalita? And there he explains further that I will side with Radha's party, not Krishna's party. I will side with Radha's party. If Radharani is upset, I will not be able to tolerate that. I will have to do so much effort to please her. But I will not tolerate if she gets upset. by Krishna, she can get upset. But she gets upset to increase the love of Godhead. Means initial desire is there is a reciprocation, but actually intensified devotion of the gopis and Radharani is one-way track. And to take the side of Radharani is most important. So our predecessor acharyas are teaching us. They're wonderful.
Thank you, Guru. Thank you. Nice
Very
understanding.
good.
Thank you, Hari.
So thank you very much for tolerating me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much.